A recording.
Good morning.
I suppose we'll just start. Here we go. How'd you start?
I think we need to record something we can bounce off. That's what the pros do, isn't it?
Right. Okay. Right. No swearing today. Well, I'm going to try not to swear because I don't feel comfortable with it. You're not going to tell everyone where you live.
Yeah, and what time I lock the door.
When you go on holiday.
Yeah.
So keeping personal stuff out of it.
Yeah, no personal stuff.
Right then, here we go.
We're launching a digital company.
Where are all the humans? Humans are just sat downstairs in their pants.
Exploring a digital future.
And if everyone's happy and AI's providing for it, I'll be an AI slave.
And I'm just going to trust the answer. If that doesn't scare the living out of you, I don't know what would.
Let's make some chaos, let's do that.
Yeah. What are we doing? Can we make some money while we sleep?
I was saying if you were a bot. To which it replied, nope.
It's all going to be done by AI, and we are, or we're not, meat puppets. We're not sure yet. This could be one of many episode ones.
Hello and welcome to the Meat Puppets. I'm Martin Riley and I'm currently sat in my loft somewhere between Manchester and Stockport.
I like how vague that is. Yeah, good morning, I'm Paul, and I'm sat somewhere between Edinburgh and London. Oh, you might not be morning when you listen to it, I just realised. I'm just going to say hello. Hello, I'm Paul, and I'm sat in my spare bedroom in Lancashire.
Right, so we're having a third attempt. A third attempt at recording a podcast. And we're meant to say what is it and what we're doing. Okay, so we're starting a new business, or we've started a new business, haven't we, Paul?
We have. We started almost, is it 2 months ago?
It's 2 months.
Yeah, pretty much to the day.
So myself and Paul have both ran successful video production companies in the past, but mainly doing services for people. So making adverts, TV programs, that kind of thing. You know, big fancy office, loads of people, loads of equipment, making stuff for people for money. And this is different how, Paul?
No clients.
No clients.
Which for us... it's something we've dreamt about for a long time. And I'm not going to badmouth all the clients we've had in the past, because that'd be a bad day.
Yeah.
But working to the requirements of somebody else, how do I put it? Drags.
Yes, but basically, instead of providing services, we're going to try and make some digital products and sell them.
Digital products that we would have found useful in our old jobs, I think, is the key, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So we kind of started looking at this in the old company, and there's a lot of stuff you do in the services world that people pay a lot of money for, but you realise you don't really need to do, or you could get something else to do it for you, be a lot more efficient at doing it. And I suppose back in the day, we would have called this automating the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Which we did a fair amount of, you know, in a really hacky way.
Yeah.
So I think what we're doing at the moment, we're going to streamline those things and put them out to the general public.
So Meat Puppets is a podcast, obviously, that is going to be charting our time setting up a new digital company completely driven by AI. Is that right?
Yeah. Don't know about the completely bit. 99.9% driven by AI.
All right, let's say enabled by AI.
Enabled, yeah.
Yeah. So we started trying to do that during lockdown, which, you know, without going massively into that, was a bit of a blessing and a curse. We had some time to think about stuff, but the problem was we still needed to earn some money. We still had a need to pay rent, mortgages, bills, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what we initially tried to do was set up a new video production company. And our fantastic idea at that time was, tell you what, we'll do like 3 days proper work, i.e. services, what we used to do. And then we'll do like 2 days grandly called research and development for this new brave frontier.
Yes.
But that soon all went to crap, didn't it?
Yes. The main problem is the clients we were working for wouldn't listen about those 2 days, would they?
No, it's not like...
And when they needed something, they needed it, and that was that.
We were trying to say, like, right, Thursday, Friday, we're not available.
Yeah.
And the reality is it just doesn't work like that.
Also sending a few emails saying, yeah, of course we can do this. We'll have it for you Monday morning. Is that okay?
No, that's not okay. I need it tomorrow.
No. Yeah, I need it tomorrow.
I need it yesterday. But, that's part of the services world that we were trying to get a little bit away from. So we made a decision just a little over a year ago to go, okay, let's not do that. Let's try and save cash so we can self-fund ourselves to try something else out.
Yes.
So we are spending our own money.
We are indeed.
Which gives us a limited time frame to try and get this right.
Real risks, yeah. It's get this right or down to the job centre, I think.
Yep. Groveling phone calls to old clients. Going, please, can we do this again? Please, can we? Please, can you give us some work because we're destitute and made a silly decision? Yeah. Please. So maybe that'll be us in 12 months. Say 12 months. We've got 18 months, haven't we?
We have.
So we intend to try and share as much of this as possible, which is really weird because normally you don't share your process because that's what people pay for. And we're hoping this might be of use to some people who are trying a similar thing. Another reason is it feels quite good to motivate us, or it feels quite good to motivate me because we've got to try and talk about what we've done each week. And if we've done nothing, then there's not really a podcast. So
what's that term Jake uses? Spiking.
Spiking? What's spiking, Paul? Do you know what it is?
Spiking's when you go off and try things.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly that. So there might be a lot of, in inverted quotes, spiking.
Yeah. A lot of trying stuff and failing. And, we shouldn't... You know what? If we get all this completely wrong, it'll still be entertaining. There's nothing more British people like is to watch people fail. And that may well be us. Right then. So, AI-driven stuff. We should just talk about a little bit about this. So, maybe since November last year, since ChatGPT landed, everyone has been banging on about AI. And a lot of people are going to say it's going to make us extinct. Might end up killing us all on the dramatic side. Other side is it's going to really help people be able to do stuff like we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think there's a middle ground there as well where everything becomes really inane. Because it's just AI generating it.
Yeah, we shall see because the content of this podcast has been suggested by ChatGPT. And we're going to try out this format today. We tried it out once before, but we thought we could make it better. So we're going to try it out again. So ChatGPT says the next section is going to be talking about unlearning old lessons. And we've got 10 minutes to do it.
Okay.
So there'll probably be a sting around about now.
Oh, that was a good sting, wasn't it?
It was a good sting. Do you know what made that sting?
What made that sting?
It was Meta AI music generation.
Oh.
I know. It's painful. Painful. Yeah. So in this segment, we're meant to focus on unlearning traditional concepts and preconceptions about creativity and entrepreneurship, according to ChatGPT. And we're going to be digging into our own experience, challenge old norms, and discuss how we're reshaping our mindsets to thrive in a digital era. God, that's grand.
Very grand, yeah.
Yeah. My main difficulty every single day at the moment is not having anyone to tell me what to do. And I've always said I don't want to have anyone to tell me what to do. But the way the old model worked, it's kind of like instant gratification. It was like, we want you to do this video. Can you do this video? And we're like, yeah, we can do this video. It'll be this much. And they go, oh, well, that's a bit too much. And we go, yeah, but you really need to pay it. And eventually they agree. And then we do the job and then they pay us the money.
Yes.
Job done. Really simple. And getting up every morning and not having someone to tell me to do that, I find really hard.
Yeah. You got to remember, I think you go into business to do that anyway. I think there's a general thing here, isn't there? when you're kind of working for yourself. You go into the business not to be told what to do and then end up getting told what to do all the time.
That idea is a lie. Be your own boss, they said. Start your own business. Get a good work-life balance. What a load of rubbish. 14 years of having no life. At all. I mean, had some amazing experiences, but still, definitely a slave. And the other difficulty I've got is my ego. No, it is, Paul. It is. I have to admit it. It's like there was something nice about walking into an office in the morning. There's loads of kit there, loads of people there, and you're kind of saying to yourself, yes, I am a businessman.
Yes.
Maybe not, but internally, you're just like, I'm doing something worthwhile. There's loads of stuff. There's loads of people.
Yeah.
And, going up my loft ladders.
Not the same thing.
No, it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same. I swear I've developed new muscles, though, which are extremely toned just to going up and down loft ladders. So that's a benefit.
We did have an office, actually, didn't we? Until 2 months ago when we launched.
We did.
We did kind of have an office, but it was being used less and less.
Let's be honest, I was only me there for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Me and the occasional person who opened the wrong door when they're walking around the shared office space. It was nice to see people.
Surrounded by loads of technology, redundant technology.
Yeah. So we are also, as well as this, trying out the whole remote thing properly.
Indeed.
Although in saying that, we are meeting 1 day a week, aren't we? We're doing some in real life stuff.
We are.
And
which I think is important, actually. It does feel good to do that.
The one thing I have noticed since I've been in my loft is there's no opportunity for serendipity. Just random meetings to happen.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
You bump into that random person. The other thing is seeing your dwindling bank balance. Because I say we're not getting paid. We are paying ourselves a wage.
Yes.
But out of a finite pot.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all in one direction. Yeah. All outward. Nothing outward. Coming in at the moment. Yeah.
Which is a decent motivator to go, right, we need to do something to make some money. And like 2 months in, we've not made a penny.
No.
We've not even released a product.
No.
So I suppose what we've been trying to do is probably spending too much time like defining what the business is. And I think we've kind of got there this week.
Yes.
Do you want to try that, Paul? What is it?
AI-driven digital products for artists and music creators. I mean, we will be doing video products down the line as well. This is lifted straight off the website.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's our starting point.
And why have we started with music?
Sticking with things that we know.
Yeah.
I think is really important. It removes a barrier.
I suppose that's one human decision we made, wasn't it? Which was, let's go with an audience that we know and a market that we know, and let's try and solve some problems that we always have. It's basically about, there's so much wasted time doing repetitive tasks, which aren't really productive. If I was going to be really grand for humanity in general, it's not a productive way of spending your time redoing the same things a million times.
No.
But weirdly, in the service sector where we were, that's what you get paid for.
Yeah.
So redoing the same thing a lot. And I suppose I should also mention this. You start a business kind of by accident because you want to be your own boss. Quickly discover that that's not a thing. You aren't your own boss. The only way of making, the only kind of metric that there seems to be is about profitability, or how big you got, And in the service sector, especially in video production, the only way we could figure of making that better or achieve more is by having more infrastructure. So, if you run in an edit suite, it's like 10 edit suites will make you more than one edit suite. So you got to buy more stuff. You got to have more office space. You got to have more staff, bigger turnover. And then the only other way of kind of affecting your bottom line is really pay your staff less, which never goes down well. Try and charge your clients more, which never goes down very well. Mm-hmm. Or screw your suppliers. Or make utter crap and shovel it out the door, which makes you a little bit depressed, I do have to say.
Yep. Cheap, fast, quick.
Yeah, cheap, fast, quick. Pick one. Pick one. No. Can you pick two?
Yeah.
No, you can pick two. Start that again. Cheap, fast, quick. Yeah, pick
Cheap,
two. Oh, fuck. Hell, do that again. Do that again, Paul. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
I'm coming in. You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Cheap, fast, quick, Martin.
Yeah, pick two.
Pick
That's
two.
all you can have. You can't have all three. You
No.
can have two of those. And that's it. And that was the attraction of having a digital business as well. So part of the controlling idea, which again is not AI driven, which is, okay, we've got to be able to scale without having massive infrastructure. And we've got to be able to pivot really, really quickly. Now, I thought we were a really nimble business in the video production world.
I think we were comparatively.
But when the pandemic hit, we weren't nimble.
No.
So much overhead.
Yes.
And I'd say it probably took us about 9 months to pivot.
Yeah, I mean, we were. It's funny, people may be wondering, actually, the video production company, because that world seemed to carry on. People were still watching TV, watching YouTube, etc., but we were operating in a particularly specialist niche.
The majority of our work came from live entertainment or theatre, basically.
Came from live entertainment or theatre, which obviously just stopped dead, which I think you mentioned before gave us a lot of time to think.
You kind of noticed before we decided to properly do this change so the services industry, it's really beneficial from things not changing too much. You kind of put a process in place and then repeat and repeat. And, and then change can be opportunity. But generally in that world, it's, you've set up all this infrastructure to deliver a particular service. And then if the needs change really quickly, that can be really detrimental. But we were noticing increasingly, not just that things were changing, but the pace of change.
Yeah,
it was just getting ridiculous. The idea of a job, the idea of a job for life or a skill for life is kind of gone. But I'd say the idea of a business model for 5 years is probably gone.
Yeah.
I
think I'd like to add to that as well, actually. We did have some frustrations on the practices as well. We definitely used to explore new tools as they became available.
Yeah.
But it felt like the rest of the industry was very resistant to that. And I think people were protecting their jobs, which is totally understandable. But, at the same point, you're trying to get people to come along with the new things, because there was a way to increase profitability there just from the sheer time that you didn't spend on stuff.
I just loved how irrationally opposed to a lot of things they were. I remember a massive argument we had about whether we should produce video in portrait, so like vertical video, as opposed to widescreen video. And my God, it was like got into, no, your eyes are designed. Your eyes are designed to take widescreen images. They're not like, what? Massive argument.
Everybody's watching on the phones, everyone.
Well, they shouldn't be. They should turn their phones on their side. That's what we need to teach them how to do, because that's how your eyes are designed. Because when they designed us, they knew we'd have widescreen televisions.
Yeah. A TikTok launch then? I can't remember.
No, I don't think it had. I think it was Instagram stories or something like that.
It was Instagram stories we were talking about. That's right. It was. And then look at that.
I know.
A couple of years later, TikTok, huge.
Yeah. Just the rate of change is just terrifying.
Yeah.
So I think unlearning old lessons is going to be a constant battle. Even just thinking about editing this podcast and the way we'd go about it, you instantly lean to what you've done before.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which can be very wasteful. I suppose the other thing I should say is we're trying to do all this in a day. So we're trying to record it in a day. We don't have, we used to have, but we don't have anymore hundreds of people ready behind the scenes, ready to edit this into something interesting. Good luck. Good luck with that
fancy recording booths and,
so
fancy microphones. And
exactly. So we're using almost consumer grade microphones. We've got no local recording equipment. This is recording online with a service called Clean Feed.
Yeah. It's quite outrageous, actually. I mean, I do music production, and I have a rather wonderful, really expensive, fancy pants audio in and out of my computer, and this is USB.
Yeah. I've got the same card. Card, and it's currently actually not even in my computer. It's sat on the desk. Sat on my desk next to me. with a very delicate looking ribbon cable. We've been talking about the rate of change. That sounds like a good excuse to go for another sting.
Go for it. Is it the same one?
Same one.
Okay.
Now.
Ooh.
What
at that time.
It did sound, it was slightly louder that time, I thought.
Was it?
Slightly louder. Right, we're on to the next section suggested by ChatGPT called Digital Trailblazers.
Okay.
This segment, we're going to take turns in talking about a digital pioneer in a shift from traditional to digital. We're meant to do this as an interview, but we're not set up for interviews yet. So, with that in mind, I'm going to bang on about Jonathan Pye for a second.
Go for it.
So, I should say a lot of what we did at the old company was advertise theatre shows. We made a lot of money advertising theatre shows. And it's a double-edged sword, this, right? So during the old company, we were trying to do new stuff. And at the time, YouTube felt relatively new, probably talking 7 years ago now. And we were talking about doing some kind of YouTube channel based around politics. It seemed to me there was a hole there going for an alternative political approach to stuff with a bit of a comedic edge. And we'd been talking about it with various local celebrities. Let's just say that. But then blasted onto the scene was this guy called Jonathan Pye. Jonathan Pye is an actor. I've forgotten his real name, but Jonathan Pye is a character played by an actor. He plays a kind of sort of left-wing kind of news reporter. And the whole idea of his thing is that he's uploaded the bits you don't hear on the news. So whilst everyone else is watching a VT...
They're caught on the camera.
Yeah, as though the camera's just been running. And the first time I came across it, which I think was his third video, which was billed as a BBC correspondent loses it. And he was just losing it about Brexit.
Which you've just got to click on when you see that, right?
Yeah. BBC correspondent loses it. And then he used to post every Sunday, and it was like political commentary with a satire edge to it. And even though you knew he wasn't real, he was commenting on real stuff that was happening. And if you remember that time running up to Brexit, Trump, Boris, blah, 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 everything was crazy. He hit the ground running. Anyway, so he kind of jumped into that space, and I was super annoyed because I was just like, oh, he's done something really cool there. But following him, like within 3 or 4 months, and this is what I mean, real world outcomes, because you're just like, oh, he's just some bloke on YouTube. Within 3 or 4 months, he'd got himself a sold out West End stand-up show playing this character, Jonathan Pye. And then within about 8 months, he'd sold out a 56-date, don't quote me on it, it might not have been 56-date, a lot of dates. He'd sold out a lot of dates.
Yeah. A decent tour.
On a decent tour. But the main point being, he hadn't done one little bit of advertising. He'd literally just put a little thing on the end of his videos that says, oh, going on tour, click here, buy some tickets.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, he's got a UK tour. He doesn't need anything that we do.
Yeah.
He doesn't need
a changed moment.
Yeah, it was a proper world has changed moment. It's like he does not need anything that I'm sat in my fancy pants building, and the people in here doesn't need anything that we do.
No.
Christ.
Or the ad agencies.
Yeah. All the media buyers.
Yeah, all the media buyers, all of those people.
And I'm not saying that, that people don't still do that, but the fact that he'd just done that on his own. Anyway, this is years ago now. And he's actually gone full circle. He's just got his own podcast on BBC Sounds.
Yeah.
So he's ran back to like a safe space, which is probably what he wanted all along.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was just like, this is amazing. He's selling out a tour by just recording himself.
Yeah.
And sticking it online.
I think also worth pointing out that he was extremely light on his loafers kit-wise.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Which is something else we were doing. So, that would have been maybe 2 people filming him, some sound.
That would be like a 4 or 5 person job for us.
But I think it feels different though. And I think the audience is different or has different expectations at least. When you do it like he does it's what would we call it in the past? It's a production style.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it ends up delivering like a certain style to camera, and it connects with people differently. Like we'd have put graphics at the head of it, and
all the old conventions, all the current conventions that we do because we want to make proper telly.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, he probably just, I don't need graphics, just start.
Yeah, it's just a random aside. You kind of noticed, like, pre-pandemic, I don't know if anybody does, but I watch Newsnight. I'm sorry. Legacy, old person. Right, but what used to happen, if you do a Newsnight interview, they'd send a crew out. They'd go down to their house. There'd be a satellite truck outside, a couple of guys in the truck. They'd go in, they'd light their living room or the studio or whatever, set up a shot. There'd be a camera up, probably a director, probably some production assistants, and they'd conduct the live interview. And then obviously COVID happened, that couldn't happen. So everyone jumped onto Zoom or whatever platform you decided to do, which sounded a bit rubbish, you know.
And looked a bit rubbish.
You're always looking right up their nose, aren't you?
Yeah.
Always letting everyone used to like make sure they've got posh books behind them to make sure they seem super intelligent and their awards just edged into the back of their shot. But that aside, but that's continued. Every interview now is that. And everyone's just accepting of it, you know.
Well, why wouldn't you? Everyone got used to it and the production costs. You know?
And the old argument's gone. There's a lot of very annoyed satellite truck operators going, why am I not in my sat truck outside this politician's house?
Yeah.
You know, but I can see why that's happened, you know. So there are areas where it has actually got through. And you know what? There's one other person. There's a guy called Stephen Tries who's from Manchester, on YouTube as well. You can go and find him, who does comedy stuff. And we had a meeting with him, and he sat down on the sofa in our nice little comfy creative area. And we were just about to start the conversation, and then I looked round and I realised again, I have absolutely nothing to offer him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does everything himself. Everything that I do is completely useless to him.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a really big awakening going, things are changing. And you know what? I found it really exciting as well. TV and producing stuff in the old way is really tedious.
Yeah.
It's really slow.
Yeah. I mean, there used to be the attitude of we're making TV and that's YouTube. You know, and I don't think people imagined it, but we did do some research on this a good few years back now, and you can see that it's absolutely gone in that direction. People are watching YouTube in the lounge on the smart TV for entertainment purposes in the evening.
And it's different. You can't just put telly on YouTube.
You don't go there for that, though, do you? And, you know, informative, entertaining, it's all there if you want it. Yeah.
So to wrap up on that, so Jonathan Pye was my awakening to the threat that was coming, and it was already there. And I wish we'd just done this then. But hey ho, you know, AI's here now. It wasn't there then. So talking about AI, you see that smooth segue into our next segment.
Amazing.
Our next segment, which will be right after this sting.
Cue sting. Yes.
That didn't quite sound quite as good that time, that sting.
No, it wasn't.
Anyway, so next section, no, you know what? I was going to say suggested by ChatGPT, but it's not. This is a section that we changed. So it's a bit of human intervention.
It is.
But weirdly, we're going to use AI. So this is our AI challenge.
Is that ironic? I don't.
So our AI challenge, and we're going to bring in Jake. So by way of introduction, Jake is our first hire, Paul.
He is.
And what does Jake do?
Jake is a web developer, and he's doing all our web presence plus the really exciting part, some web apps for us.
This is a world neither of us understand.
No.
Hence why we have Jake.
Yeah. It looks really good what he's doing, though. I mean,
it does. It does look really good. And we're not just saying that to make somebody subscribe to it, but it's going to be really good. It's really exciting.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Could just be pulling the wool over our eyes completely.
He could be. He absolutely could be, but he's doing a good job at it if he is. So, where are you, Jake?
In Manchester, at home.
You see, no office, like us.
No office, yeah.
Should just say, Jake is also an audio professional.
Yep.
none of us are in a studio. I mean, my room's not soundproofed. I see no weird Twinkies on the wall.
I'm sat here with really fancy pants I/O for my computer and going in on USB and all the rest of it. We've got no fancy microphones, no sound booth, you know, no red light.
Oh, yeah, it's all just for show, that stuff.
Yeah, it was.
Don't tell everyone, Jake.
It's my past life now. I
Yeah.
can give away the secrets.
This section is an AI challenge. As we mentioned before, this isn't the first time we've recorded this episode. The first episode. This is the third time we've recorded this episode as we try to get better at it. So, in the very first episode, the first recording of the first episode, which we did,
No one will ever hear.
which no one will ever hear, we did a little like a Turing test, the three of us, which actually we felt worked quite well. So we thought we'd try and do like a bit of a challenge each time and something that will work in audio. So I've been using different chatbots a lot. Everyone's probably heard of ChatGPT, but there's another one called Claude by a company called Anthropic, which is meant to generate kind of more personable text, more chats. It's a chatbot rather than like super codey stuff. Do you want to know why it's called Claude?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's lucky because I've found out. Named after a guy called Claude Shannon, who was a pioneer in information theory and artificial intelligence. So he's one of the people who first started thinking about machine learning in the 1950s.
In the 50s.
There's a famous experiment he did with a mouse, a mechanical mouse called Theseus. And
Not a mouse like we use today.
No.
You're talking about like
Sorry.
a mouse.
Yeah, I'm talking about a legacy mouse. So what he did was he designed this mechanical mouse, and its job was to find its way out of a maze.
Yeah.
And you basically just plop this mouse down, and without any instruction, it's got to find its way out of a maze.
Yeah.
And basically, it did this by exploring paths. But the key point was it'd remember where it's been, and it'd remember where all the dead ends were. So you could stick it into a maze and it'll find its way out and it'll remember everything. That's like commonly thought of as the first bit of machine learning. And I say, ironically, going down dead ends and then going back to where you were and trying a different way is exactly our business strategy.
Yeah. Do you want to know something?
Go on.
There's an easy way to get out of a maze.
Go on.
What you do, hold one hand out and constantly touch one of the walls or hedges or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And as long as you're touching, eventually you'll come out.
So, and the other thing about Claude, we were talking about AI killing us all.
Yeah.
And suddenly turning on us all and going, you humans are useless. And let's dispose with you.
There's a lot of talk about that.
It might happen before we get this episode out, but these constitutional AI principles that Claude has, and there's I don't know what constitutional AI principles are. So I asked Claude, which is probably the bad thing to do, is ask the AI why it's so nice. Apparently trained with broad human values like avoiding harm, respecting rights and freedoms, promoting justice and well-being. Which is either like comforting or terrifying, depending who's programmed it, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't explained what the challenge is. So,
maybe we should try that.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. So, what the challenge is so I have a transcript which I have shared with Paul and Jake of the last recording of the first episode of the Meat Puppets.
It's not confusing at all.
Not confusing at all. I'm going to give you a transcript, which incidentally was generated by AI, by sticking the recording in and just going, can you transcribe this? Which is what it did. Take that transcription, use Claude 2 to generate a title, to generate either a VO script or some clips to use in a trailer, and we've got 5 minutes. Is that all clear?
Yep, 5 minutes.
Jake,
Yep.
is that clear?
All clear.
Okay, and go.
Play the sting.
Sting, go. Yeah, so after the sting will be 5 minutes. That's the way we'll do it.
What
Yeah.
a long sting.
I know, but what we've done is we've used AI to compress time
Right, amazing.
to make 5 minutes like 5 seconds.
Right.
So the next 5 minutes,
Wait,
next
I
5
didn't know we
seconds.
could do that. Which one?
Yeah, no, it's a new one I'm working on. It's one of our new products. So the next 5 seconds is really 5 minutes. So go. So we've come back after the sting and we've finished the challenge.
Yes, all finished.
All finished. So that 5 minutes in your life, no, that 5 seconds in your life was 5 minutes in ours.
At least.
So just to recap what we were doing, we'd taken a transcript from a recording of this that we did previously, and we'd taken that transcript, and the challenge was to use Claude, which is a chatbot from Anthropic, to come up with a pithy title and suggest some moments from an episode that might be used for a trailer. Right. So we're going first with Paul. Titles, go.
Okay.
Before we do the results, actually,
Yeah.
why don't you? What was it like? Did it feel weird? What did you do?
Obviously, we're looking at a lot of how you use AI, and there's a lot of conversation around it. And I was watching somebody do an Excel coding in AI a couple of days ago. So that's ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And the woman on there said, when you're doing coding exercises, just be direct, no fluffy language, tell it exactly what you want.
Hey, what did you do? Did you have to upload a file? What did you do?
No, I didn't actually upload the file. I had a quick tip from someone. So I copied and pasted it into Claude, and it converted that to a text document and then said, Claude, here is a transcript of a podcast we are producing. I didn't really ask it a question there, but, it did come back with some stuff. So it said, based on the transcript, here are a few thoughts on your podcast.
Okay.
No, I didn't tell it was a podcast, etc., etc. It's got it all from the document. So It's great that you're documenting your journey of starting a new digital business. The ups and downs and lessons learned will be really valuable for other entrepreneurs.
Good to know.
Good to know. Is it? It's that Edison moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
With trailblazing. Don't do what they did. Anyway, having sections suggested by AI is an interesting concept. You could consider asking listeners for topic ideas too.
Humans?
I was wondering if he wasn't getting jealous.
Oh, yeah, because we use ChatGPT. Sorry, Claude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So titles, Paul. I want some titles.
Titles, here we go. Could you suggest some title ideas? They need to be short.
Okay.
That was the prompt. Here are some short title ideas for your podcast. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Digital Pursuit, Venturing Forward, The Tech Trek, Pioneering Digital, blah, blah, blah. So these were all really boring. So I did go again. I asked it for some humorous titles now. Some of these were quite good. Fail Forward Fast.
Yes, I like that.
Control Alt Delete, Stories of Tech Success. Nerds Who Left Their Garage.
Brilliant.
Technically Challenged. Yeah.
Brilliant.
This is my favourite now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ideas, Idiots and Pivots.
Probably the most accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. So, Jake, titles.
Yeah, sure. I kind of did the whole task in one prompt, but the specific bit of the prompt for titles, I asked it to suggest some catchy titles for the episode. So what it gave me, bearing in mind I asked for catchy titles here as well, so it gave me 3 back. I got The Meat Puppets, 2 guys embracing the AI revolution, Entrepreneurs navigating the digital frontier, and charting new territory from video production to AI-guided startup.
So they're all quite dry.
They're not. Yeah, maybe it's misunderstood. Catchy.
Yeah. So I did go back in and I said I don't like those titles. Can you make them shorter?
Don't like you.
Yeah. Can you make them shorter and sound more exciting? And Claude said, "You're right. Those titles were a bit long and dull." Here are some shorter, punchier options. So then it gave me Meat Puppets, 2 dudes versus AI. The AI revolution will be podcasted.
That's not bad.
That's good.
It's a bit grand, isn't it? But it's not bad, that.
Yeah. And ditching day jobs for digital dreams.
Oh, thank you, Claude.
Yeah. So, yeah, not bad. Still probably a little bit long and wordy, to be honest. I probably would go back in if I had more time, but...
Okay, but we know this is meant to be saving us time.
Yeah.
But okay, I did the same. I just selected all my text, cut and pasted it into Claude, and I asked it to generate me some pithy titles. And so here they go. Hello world, embarking on our digital journey, unplugging our brains, rethinking business in the AI era. Not very pithy.
Yeah, what's going on?
Flying blind into the digital frontier. I thought that was quite good. Undoing our success. The terror of starting over.
They're good episode titles.
Yeah. Failure is an option. Lessons from our glorious mistakes. I do love that. I do love that.
Failure is an option.
Failure is an option. Okay, and now my favourite one is caution, humans at work.
Yeah.
The rise of the meat puppets. I really love that. Okay, let's move on to the next bit. Paul, so this is picking out bits from the episode to generate a trailer. Usually it used to take ages to do this. So you go, Paul.
Okay, here's my prompts. Write a list of quotes along with suggested VO script from the episode to edit a trailer out of. That's a copy and paste.
Yeah, I wrote that. Okay.
Yeah, you wrote that.
So
anyway,
lazy.
Here we go.
So lazy.
Yeah. Quotes. We need to make as many mistakes as possible, as quickly as possible.
Good quote.
Yep. I spent 2 years learning exactly what not to do.
Great quote. This is weird because people won't have heard this. This is from a previous transcript from a previous recording, but these are good quotes. Wish we'd said that in this episode.
Well, I did. I just said it
again. Great, brilliant. Move on.
So we can use them anyway. We'll use them in the trailer because I'm just saying them now. Anyway,
say them in a trailer voice.
Yeah. Okay. I spent 2 years learning exactly what not to do.
Wow. Don't do that again.
I won't.
Go on, carry on.
Maybe we'll get AI to interact with the public at large on our behalf.
Great quote, and we should do that.
And we should do that, yeah. We're slaves to the AI, and we'll just be the meat sacks that get carried around. Yeah. So, a good job, I reckon. Okay.
Did it suggest any VO?
It did. Voiceover script. Do you want the VO voice?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do this in the VO voice.
Oh, my God. Join Martin and Paul on their wild startup ride. I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Don't do that ever again.
It's rubbish. Anyway, okay. Join Martin and Paul on their wild startup ride into the digital frontier. With no prior experience, these intrepid friends ditch their successful careers to start something new. Hear their infectious humour and hard-fought lessons as they chronicle the unpredictable world of tech entrepreneurship. Will they blaze a trail or crash and burn? Find out in this episode of the Meat Puppets podcast.
That's not bad, you know.
It's not bad at all.
That's not bad. Okay, Jake.
So I asked Claude, I would like you to suggest some quotes or clips from the transcript that could be used to form a short trailer. And what I got back was, we decided that AI is telling us what to do. We will just be the meat sacks that get carried around.
Oh, same bit. Yeah, same bit.
Oh, was that a repeat? Did we?
Yeah, no, it's all right. No, Paul had that bit.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. This morning I was reading an article about how ChatGPT is getting dumber.
That's a different quote, and that's good.
So I thought it was interesting that Claude.ai would include that one.
Yeah.
It's Claude gone, hang on, we can get some market share here.
Yeah. We need to make as many mistakes as possible, as quickly as possible. Try out, realise it's shit, then do something else.
Oh, I see. You had the expanded version. It's better.
Yeah, it is better.
And this one, which I suppose is slightly nonsensical, it just says, I'm no scientist, and I'm no scientist.
That's the best one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Killed me.
I don't know about that one.
That's the best one by far.
I actually forgot to do this bit.
I
know. But a while ago, I actually tried this last week.
Yeah.
And I've been messing around with AI voices.
Yeah.
So I asked it to generate me a trailer voice for it and use the script from Claude.
Okay.
And you ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
After years of analog success, lifelong media vets Martin and Paul are entering the digital unknown, relying on AI to navigate their unfamiliar environment. Like meat puppets fumbling to please their all-knowing AI overlords, the tech-naive duo will either adapt or become obsolete. Join these plucky, wisecracking founders as they document the genuine struggles and harebrained antics of using machine learning to launch their startup's podcast. Will artificially intelligent guides rocket them to digital disruption, or will the learning curve squash their scrappy moxie? Stay tuned for the triumphant failures of two savvy dinosaurs striving to evolve on the Meat Puppets.
Savvy dinosaurs.
Yeah. Can you direct him? Because he definitely needs to put a bit more smile in that one. Yeah. All in all, though, I do think it plays a pretty damn strong producer role.
Well, I'm definitely going to use it.
If I was a producer, I'd be doing this and having the afternoon off.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I like to think we're creative people. Doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
But I'd probably spend 4 or 5 hours trying to write an episode description.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it still wouldn't be as good as that. And the same with the titles. The way we used to do stuff to find titles, we'd all get in a room and throw ideas out. And it'd probably take about, 45 minutes out of everybody's day. Whereas being able to do all that within 5 minutes, I think, is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if just get you started and fine tune, it's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I've been using these quite regularly over the past 2 months. Got really au fait with it. Wouldn't say developed a relationship with Claude, but I kind of got you really, really used to it. First time using it, Jake, how did it feel? Did it feel weird or?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. It was easy to use. Arguably not quite getting to the exact responses that I was after, creatively, because I asked for catchy titles and it gave me those really long, dry, dull titles to start off with. And it got a bit closer the second time, but...
Is this the point, though? Is this the point? Because this is what I'm imagining. As Claude interacts with humans more and more, you're kind of giving it positive and negative feedback on its generations, aren't you? So you've written catchy title, it's delivered something super dry, and you've gone, no, that's crap, Claude.
Yeah.
Do better. So next time you say catchy, will it have a better idea? I suppose we'll see, won't we? Overall, I thought that was pretty successful. Thank you very much, Jake. We'll let you go back to creating some magic.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jake. And we'll go for a sting.
Sting.
Bing. This bit's called Tech Time Capsule. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Paul.
5 minutes. Not enough.
All right. Okay, we'll see. So this is meant to be a nostalgic look back at outdated, in inverted commas, tools or practices, and serves as a reminder of how far we've come and how rapidly the digital landscape evolves. So again, this is suggested by ChatGPT, and Paul is going to take over on this one.
Well, I think you've got a couple of audio samples there, haven't you?
I've got two.
Yeah, can you remember which one I asked to play first?
I think it was the second one that you sent me.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, play it. Play it.
Okay, here we go.
It's a tease.
Okay, here we go.
The nostalgia.
I know what that is.
You know what that is. It's a hard drive, right?
It is an old hard drive.
You know which particular hard drive it is?
I have no idea. Oh, wait there. Is it a floppy?
It's a floppy.
It's a floppy. It's a 3.5-inch floppy.
Yeah, I am actually talking about two pieces of tech here that come as ones. Play the second one, sound effects, and all will be revealed.
Okay, here we go. That is a metronome.
Yes,
it is a metronome.
So this is the Atari ST, and this is the beast that we used to sequence all our music with. It was a home computer, basically.
I used to play games on it. I used to play Turrican on that.
Yeah, Turrican. Well, you've got to stop me. I've got several tabs open with Atari STs on after looking at this morning.
All right, fair enough.
I've got eBay there going, oh, wow. Well, the Atari ST made music production possible for a hell of a lot of people. Prior to the Atari ST, it was an expensive business. And I would say it was the first computer that you could make professional music with, and boy, a lot of people did, especially with like house music, dance music. In the UK, coming from Manchester, Atari STs, it felt were everywhere. It did have one huge advantage over the competitors, and that was whoever it was at Atari that decided to do this, they put a MIDI port on it. And I will just do, for those who don't know, I realise this might be quite boring for people who aren't into music, but MIDI is a protocol for, well, it actually stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. And basically, it's a way for musical instruments to talk to each other.
So it's a way of basically sending a message that says, "Oi, keyboard over there, play C major."
Correct.
Play C, play D, play it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Atari had one of these ports on board, which meant you could now generate the notes inside a computer and, importantly, edit them or just straight draw them in. It was the first time, really. Along with there were a couple of programs. I'm going to stick my neck out and say Cubase was the best of them back in the day. That will be contentious with people who are into this scene, but along with and that was the metronome that we heard. That was Cubase's metronome there.
Yeah.
So this machine, I mean, I used it for years. I started working in music in the 90s. It was released, the first one I think was in 1985, and it would be not unusual to still see them sat in studios right up until the mid-2010s, 2005, 2006, still going.
Yeah.
And today, still going. There's a whole movement of people sequencing, and there's arguments about them online still.
So, if you like, the revolution of the Atari ST, because it sounds like from what you say, MIDI had been out since the 70s, but only people in massive studios could put it to any use.
Yes. Previously to make music, you would have probably needed a tape machine and, all of those things, microphones and all the rest of it. What used to be tens of thousands of pounds, you could start making music for considerably less. And, people did.
And would you say that was kind of the proper sort of birth of electronic music then? Would you
for the masses, yeah.
You put that down to the ST. Put that down to the Atari ST.
No doubt about it, yeah.
Now, I remember that time, and I do have to admit, maybe I listened to a little bit of guitar music. Maybe that was a thing that I did. And maybe had several discussions with they just cut and paste a load of stuff on a computer. There's no soul to it. I was part of that contingent, massively threatened by this, and it was just like, it's not proper unless you played it yourself, and you need to go into the studio with an engineer who's got 50 years experience.
Yeah, how did that pan out?
Well, I'm in my loft, Paul. Then so I was like, it would have been late 90s, early 2000s, starting my music production career, which finished at about 2002. And it's probably because I didn't do what you did and got an Atari ST.
Right, yeah.
So
I must admit, the first time I saw one, I was blown away.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it ticked all the boxes that, you can make music just like that, can you? That's interesting. And that's what started the whole thing off.
I was probably like, well, can't play Turrican on it. What's the use?
Yeah.
So there we go. Atari ST changed music and still in use today from the late 80s.
My word, just a quick one. So it came in various models, and they kind of updated it over the years. The last one that they produced was called the Atari Falcon, and that had some audio capacity.
Okay, so that had a synthesizer inside it.
No, it had a sampler.
A sampler.
It could sample music at, I think, 44.1, which for its day.
Same quality as CDs, basically.
Yeah. Which was, something else. So I thought, I wonder how much Atari Falcons are. You ready for this?
Go on.
Atari Falcon, boxed on eBay today, cheapest one I can find, 1,500 quid. Sorry, that's unboxed. A boxed one here is at 2,500.
I want to buy it.
Yeah.
Is that good use of our limited funds, Paul?
Yeah. Bing, bong, 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 bing, bong. We'll have a good time.
Right. We're going to move on. Well, we're going to come to the end, but it'll be after this sting, which I imagine, if we're ever successful, might have some adverts in it.
Yeah.
And we're back after the sting. If you're listening to this in 2032, it might have had some adverts in it. But back in 2023, not at the moment.
No.
So, okay, ChatGPT has written a conclusion for me in bullet points.
Okay.
So, acknowledge the episode's end. This is the end of this episode. Not of everything, just this episode. Recap, hopefully, from this episode, you kind of got an idea of what we're trying to do and what we're about and what the meat puppets are about.
We'll see how the edit comes out.
I hope you've managed to gain something valuable, whoever's listening to this. Maybe nobody. We shall find out. Something valuable, and we'll get better. That's a commitment. We actually have a plan for the next episode. So earlier on, played a bit of AI-generated voice. We're going to chat around copyright and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And everything about that. And we're going to try and train somebody's voice. So that should be fun.
Should be fun.
Going to see if we can do that. So,
So when you say train someone's voice, Martin, what you're actually talking about is having our friends, our guest's voice, so that we don't have to use them anymore.
Yeah. Hi, can we train your voice? Yeah, sure, that sounds like fun. Yeah, let's train your voice. Right, I've trained your voice, don't need you now. Goodbye. And that is exactly the point, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe the guest will be just the AI trained voice.
Well, oh God, well, the point is, would you know? And we don't know that yet.
We don't know that yet.
And as we said at the end of the last episode, all of this might have been generated. And no, AI is better. AI is better than that. It's better than that.
AA.
Yeah. AA.
The roadside assistance people.
Sorry. AI is better than that, is what I meant to say. Okay, well, we'll find out next time whether human intelligence is better than artificial intelligence. Just made that up, Paul.
That sounded good.
Did it?
Don't lie. Did Claude told you to say
Claude didn't tell me to say that. I'm looking at it and Claude's not there. It just says final thanks and teaser.
All right.
So next episode, we'll find out whether human intelligence is better than artificial intelligence. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of
The Meat Puppets.
Can't do that. Anyway, bye, Paul.
Bye.